Welcome back, my quiver of capitalists, to AP Economics, presented by Cobranomics, your all-American American history teacher, gold standard of economics, and sensei of supply side, Professor G here. And for Unit 3, congratulations, you have leveled up to Unit 3 from Unit 2. And Unit 3, we introduce how to measure a healthy economy. And our first lesson is economic measurement, and economic measurement number 1, unemployment. To give you a little historical circumstance, it is right after World War II that Congress passes the Full Employment Act, followed 30 years later by the Humphrey-Hawkins Act, and these two acts fundamentally changed the role of government and the economy in American history. These acts say that it is the government's job to not only monitor, but to promote economic health. And economic health is measured in 3 different ways: the unemployment rate, the inflation rate, and the real GDP growth rate. But before we examine unemployment, we are going to take a look at the labor force. So before we could look at the actual unemployment rate, well, we have to ask who is being measured. And that who is being measured is known as the labor force. And the labor force has some interesting characteristics of how it breaks down who the government, particularly the Bureau of Labor Statistics, wants to measure. First, it is only people from 16 to 65, what is considered the working age population. And now we get into some of our little caveats about this. You could be employed, and employed, be very specific, means fully employed, you have a full 40-hour-a-week job, or part-time employed. As long as you are participating in the economy, so that's working either full-time or part-time, you are counted. But you could also be unemployed, but actively seeking work. If you are actively seeking work, the government considers you trying to participate in the economy. And the best way the government can measure that is if you are on unemployment benefits. To the government, that means you're on unemployment benefits until you can get a new job. So the government assumes that while you're on unemployment benefits, you are actively looking for work, and therefore should be counted as participating in the labor force. However, if you are unemployed and then no longer choose to actively seek work, give up on looking for work, or if your unemployment benefits run out, then you are considered what is called a discouraged unemployed. And you are an interesting statistical anomaly in that you do not have a job. However, also technically, because you are no longer actively seeking work and therefore trying to actively participate, you are no longer in the labor force. So as is always a trick question on the AP exam, they give you a scenario about a person looking for work, and as soon as you see no longer actively seeking work, that person does not count in the labor force and does not count towards the unemployment rates. They are part of the discouraged or the hidden unemployed. The labor force also does not include high school students, retirees, and as we said before, anyone not looking to actively participate in the economy. And the LFPR, the labor force participation rate, is our labor force, so the employed plus unemployed actively seeking work, divided by that adult population. So the labor force participation rate measures out of the adult population how many people are actively seeking work. Now we are going to take a look at how the labor force is used to calculate the unemployment rate. Let's take a look at the unemployment rate, our first economic indicator of a healthy economy. So the unemployment rate is based off of the labor force we just looked at. And we take a look at who in the labor force is unemployed, and we divide that by the labor force itself, times that by 100, and that gives you the unemployment rate. And the goal of the unemployment rate is 4%. So that means 4% of the labor force is unemployed but actively seeking work. Remember 2, always times that by 100 to get the percentage, that rate. And our secondary goal is that as the unemployment rate decreases, you also want to see an increase in the labor force participation rate. This shows that the unemployment rate is going down because more people are participating in the economy and going from unemployed to employed. Now 4%, right, we're not looking for 0%, we're looking for 4% because the Bureau of Labor Statistics recognizes that at any time 4% of the population might be what is called naturally unemployed. So we call this the natural rate of unemployment. Because at any time, 4% of the population might be going through 2 things. 1, frictional unemployment. This means you just graduated out of college and you're looking for your first job. It could be you just moved and you're looking for a job in your new city. Or it could very well be that you're just between jobs and actively looking to participate in the economy. All things that are naturally occurring. Structural means 2 things. 1, there's a mismatch of skills and openings. So let's say you are skilled as a welder, but you live in Cleveland, but those jobs left Cleveland and are in a factory in another part of the country. You would be structurally unemployed. Unfortunately, that is natural. And 2, technology. Put a star next to technology because this is always the giveaway on multiple choice. Whenever you see technology replaces skills, that is structural. And in terms of an economy, usually means economic growth and economic progress, that technology makes old jobs obsolete, as we've seen through 4 different industrial revolutions. Unfortunately, though, the people and the skills they have that the technology replaced isn't necessarily equatable to the new jobs. So for instance, you see a lot of automated cashiers at supermarkets. So even though the cashier is replaced and the technology does create a new job, it creates the automated maintenance and the automated engineer. However, the cashier it replaced, their skills have now been replaced by this new technology. So they are structurally unemployed. That the economy is now structured against them, unfortunately. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that at any given time, that these 2 should represent 4%, could represent 4% of the natural rate of unemployment. Anything greater than 4% signals an economic downturn. We're going to take a look at the business cycle, the cycle of the economy, and if the number is greater than 4%, this is called cyclical unemployment. And why would it be greater than 4%? Any number of reasons that are causing a reduction in spending in the economy, and this reduction in spending is now causing layoffs and causing businesses to lay off workers because they are not getting enough money in the product market. So for the AP test, be careful of the background and the story they give you for each of the different people they tell you about, and then think about which one of these categories does it fit. On our next video, we are going to take a look at economic indicator number 2, the inflation rate. Thank you for watching, and remember, whether it is your money, your mind, or your body, invest hard, invest often, and no feelings. Money never sleeps. We'll see you next time.